Hey guys, it's Mike with another King Arthur Legends Rise video. Today we're going to talk about why I'm still positive on King Arthur and whether or not I'm delusional. There's just been a lot of kind of negativity around King Arthur with the update and coming in with no new champions and bringing back the rate up summons of existing champions. Again, no new content, and I'm still in a place of pretty positivity. Maybe I haven't been burned by Netmarble in the past. Maybe it's complete naivety. I don't know. Or I may just be delusional, but I am really enjoying the game, and I did want to talk about why and what I have hope for the future. Before we get into any of that, I do want to specify, I am not sponsored by Netmarble in any way. I'm not part of the content creator program. There's no way that I'm making any kind of money on the game at all, except for potentially monetizing my YouTube channel, which I'm still trying to work through. So I just wanted to be clear that these are just my honest opinions, and that's all it is. It's just how I feel. It's not influenced by anything outside of that. So if we take kind of a broad scope look at the game, I think as far as gacha games go, it's super fun. There's a lot of unique aspects of it. You got a city builder game kind of going on in the background, which is pretty fun. Got a few different unique modes in the game, with the main story being your standard campaign, but you also have this adventure mode, which is kind of cool and fun. I actually just beat that on the main account here. I say main account, I only have one. I don't have time to play two accounts, to be honest with you. But you do have a lot of cool stuff going on. The restricted area, you have dungeons, power up, different bosses. You got the clan raid, which can be a little monotonous. I could see after playing a long time that it's not really super fun. But I have a good time when it resets in here, and especially in those early levels, I just come in with one or two characters and just destroy the entire boss. And it is kind of fun and engaging for me. The Forbidden Dungeon, I think, is probably some of my favorite content. Only because the rewards seem to be very beneficial to my account where I am in the game right now. I have not beaten normal. I got to 92 on the last season, so hopefully this season I can beat it and then move on to hard. I think it'll probably be a season or two before I can beat hard mode, and I think that this is really engaging content. You run into those levels that really need a little extra attention, and you're like trying to build a team that can get through it, which I think is kind of fun. Favorite dungeons, I mean, they're necessary in the game. I don't know that they're entirely engaging in any particular way. I have not maxed out, I don't think, any of them. Serpents is probably the closest. I have not been able to beat the level 10, which if I actually put some energy into it, probably could do that. I just haven't really paid a lot of attention. And then the sealed temple, I think, is good content as well, with the bosses and so forth, getting these materials. I do think it's a little bit stifling that you can only get a few of these a day, but it is a way of prolonging your game experience so you're not maxing out every character right away. So taking a look at the characters in the game, I think that they're really thought through. They're all unique skins. They all have their own aspects and things. If anything, I would argue that their kits are probably too complex. By the time you have the active skills attached to the relic and 3 different options on the relic, as well as the 3 passive skills and then all of the chivalry upgrades, it's kind of tough to keep track of everything that each champion does, which can be a little overwhelming. But it does add a level of complication to the game, or kind of engagement, where you start to realize what some of these things do over time and then start to strategize about how to best utilize those different attributes. So I do feel like it does cater to some long-term engagement, which is pretty exciting. I think the duplicate system in this game it's excessive, but it's good. I think getting 11 copies of a character is a little bit excessive, but at this stage of the game, with the limited amount of characters in the game, it makes sense. Later on, assuming they add characters to the game at any steady pace over the course of a year, 2 years, there could be substantially more characters in the game, be a lot harder to get chivalry levels on those characters because the pool is so big. And that is obviously potential and hypothetical, but at that point, getting that many characters could be a struggle. That being said, they have an amazing aspect to the chivalry where they added these memory stones, so you are not completely reliant on RNG to pull the character, where you can actually get the memory stones and upgrade chivalry with never pulling another copy of that character, which is pretty cool. And these are fairly readily available in the game through events and stuff of that nature, so you can over time get your chivalry levels where you want. which I think is a really good quality of life for King Arthur. And this is lacking in a lot of other gacha games, where you are completely reliant on RNG to get those characters, and if the pools are significantly larger, you basically never are guaranteed to ever get the character you want, which is kind of frustrating. The other aspect that helps you out in that space is coming over to the Shard shop. Different characters are coming through here all the time, so as you upgrade your account, you get more and more of these tokens, and you are, you know, eventually probably going to see characters come through here that you want, that you haven't pulled, as well as you can work on their chivalry. So there are a couple ways of adding to the 11 pulls where you don't actually have to get through 11 pulls to get your character maxed out, but it does give you that carrot for the long-term gain. Another really unique aspect to this game is the relic system and having the ability to change the affinity of every character with their relics. So you can go and get a positive affinity for one of your favorite characters or build them differently if they don't fit the need that you want. I think that's a really cool aspect of this game that is unique. I haven't really seen anything like that in any other game, and I really do appreciate the thought that goes into that. Constructively, I'd have to say the clan is kind of lackluster to me. Being able to move in and out of a clan is clunky at best. And then getting rewards for people not logging in is kind of frustrating. I think yesterday we had 12 or 15. We were one shy. And it's just unfortunate. And then you're stuck in this clan when they're doing the war or whatever, and you're like, I want to move to a clan that actually, you know, has everybody engaging. So I mean, that is a little bit frustrating. Unfortunately, as with the player base kind of dwindling, that's probably going to be inevitable, unfortunately, and I don't really know a way around that. But this content, really, for me, I just get in here, get my my daily missions done. I don't really pay too much attention to here because I can't do this by myself. If we're getting close to something, I'll jump in and do it. But like clear Frozen Plains, I'm not going to do it 900 times, especially with the events going on right now. There's no point to be in there, so I'm probably not going to be completing this mission in the next 3 days. In the clan war, I go in, set up my defense. A lot of times there aren't other teams in there for me to fight, so I do feel like this is an opportunity for Netmarble, but unfortunately this is going to be something that gets addressed if they increase their player base, and there's a lot of opportunities for them to do that, but unfortunately they just really haven't pressed forward in that space. But I do feel like this content will start to fix itself once we have a bigger and more consistent player base. As far as the arena goes, I feel like arena is a necessary evil in every one of these games. I don't find it incredibly engaging. I do like it because you start to see, you know, like Anya, for example, you see some of the higher tiered levels using the storm, and so you kind of see, why are they doing that? This is actually kind of eye-opening here. This is a chivalry level 10, which makes me think probably has other relics available for Anya, but they're choosing to use the Frost relic anyway. So that gives me kind of a thought like, that's an interesting thing. You'll see like Morgan here in the flame, but also you see with the storm. Here you're kind of seeing that speed team with the Sergius, so they're probably going to be slowing you down and speeding them up. Here I'd kind of expect probably to see the storm relic a little more than flame, but they're only on chivalry level 5, so maybe they don't have it. But those are some engaging things that go into there, as well as you do get the rewards in here in the shop, and I think there are parts of this that keep me coming back, but it's not really a piece of content that I do look forward to in the game. It's more of just a chore that I have to do. One thing that I really enjoy in this game, which is a blessing and a curse, and we've talked about in some of the other videos, is they are super generous with not only their drop rates and their pity system, but they're super generous with the amount of summoning stones they give you. And the special summons, I literally pulled, I think, 32 yesterday in order to hit pity. Who do we get? Oh, we got a lot. My videos started getting out of order, so sometimes I'm referencing them and they kind of get silly. I apologize for that. I try to keep them in order, but every now and then pressing content hits, and then that video will launch in front of other ones, and then it gets kind of chaotic. But I literally pulled 32 summons yesterday, and I already have 23 again today. And those are coming. I'm still at $95. I haven't spent any more money, but through the events and through progressing through, I've actually been pushing Forbidden Dungeon reset, as well as in story mode. I'm rolling through Hell mode, and I'm since I've done some adjustments on my team, I'm blazing through it without any problems, which is kind of cool. But I think some of those might be coming from new levels that I've beaten there. I'm not entirely sure where they all come from. I just know they show up, and it seems like every time I do a video, it could be a summoning video, which I think is incredibly generous. The problem with it is if you're incredibly generous here and you're incredibly generous here, everybody's going to have every character and they're going to get bored. And I think that's what's going on right now. The carrots they put in front of you are not far enough away. Every carrot in this game is very easily achieved very quickly. And because of that, there's this starvation for new content all the time. I do have some thoughts and suggestions in my previous video, the 60-day review, that I think could help out. To flesh out one of those thoughts, I think, could be a huge win, would be in the summoning shard shop, what if you had a character you could only buy in this area? And let's just say maybe they're 20,000 tokens instead of 5,000. So you pulling more and more people and getting their chivalry level 10 and getting more and more of this currency, you could be saving up for this iconic, it'd have to be a character that's worth the carrot has to be worth it. You got to want the carrot. So whatever the character is, it have to be a great character, but at least then you have a goal that you're working towards over the course of a month, if not 2 or 3 months, to get that character on your account. And then you're going to work on their chivalry on top of that. So I think those kind of things would be a huge benefit. They could also add another character into the game that you cannot pull, that you can only get when you beat normal Forbidden Dungeon, maybe on normal, and then another one when you beat on hard. And that way every season, and these reset every 30 days or every 28 days or whatever the seasons are, you're basically going to be working towards getting the chivalry of that character every time that you go through that space. And maybe just to keep that carrot a little further away, maybe you can't use memory stones to get their chivalry. Maybe you have to beat this. And so you're like, okay, well, it's going to take me a year to get that character completely maxed out. And I think those long-term goals are what keep Raid Shadow Legends going 6 years strong. And it's going to be kind of what peters out here, is because every carrot is within days of getting. Like you can literally get almost every single carrot in this game super fast. There's not any long-term anything. So except for Chivalry level 10, but it's like, to be honest, once you get the character on your account, like Bedivere here, I have him on my account. I don't really have a huge drive to get his chivalry level up. I mean, obviously it's going to make him better over time, but I have him on my account. I get to play with him. So when I do pull additional copies of him, I'm excited, but I'm not as excited when I got my first one. And I think that's kind of a key thing, is like this carrot is kind of, I already got it. I already got the carrot. Now it's just kind of like, okay, well, we can flesh it out and make it better. So the excitement kind of dwindles with that. The other thing that keeps me excited about this game is at the end of the day right now, we're celebrating our 100-day anniversary. So it is a brand new game, and there have been 5 or 6 different times that I can recall from playing in the last 2 months where I felt like Netmarble was really listening and the community was really getting behind, like, hey, they're making quality of life changes, they're making adjustments. Like in here they changed the rate up summons because enough people were kind of getting burned on the 50-50 shot. They changed it to 100%. I don't know if that's the right move. I kind of think it should stay 50-50 with a guarantee at 120. I think that would be better, because at least then you have that excitement at 60. Like, am I going to get the character? Did I not get the character? It just kind of puts that carrot a little further away, so it's kind of a longer term goal. But, this was something the community wanted, and they listened to it and they put it out there. There was talk about the Vigor set, and I think Charlotte was an attempt to address that issue. Might have been a project already in the works, and it is what it is. But it was something that was like, okay, this is a spin that we weren't expecting that could change exactly how these Vigor sets work and whether or not it makes sense to put champions in Vigor sets. I think that those kind of things show that they are responding. There's obviously an extreme lack of communication, and from content creators across the board, they're like, we have no idea what's happening. Like, the update came out, and none of the content creators that are plugged in, I don't plug in. I enjoy the game the same way you do. I just do it on camera. But A lot of those content creators that are plugged in, they had no idea what was happening. They didn't know we weren't getting a new character until the update cleared and we didn't have a new character. And that's a problem. And Netmarble does need to address that, where it's like, I mean, once a week communications, no big deal. You know, once a quarter going out and saying, hey, this is the roadmap ahead. This is what we're trying to accomplish this quarter, this year, whatever it is. And then the progress that we've made. You know, come back and show us what we've done in the last 100 days. Because I think that if retrospectively we look at it, I feel like they've done quite a bit. You know, I mean, since I've started playing, I think they added hard mode into Forbidden Dungeon, and then they also added an entirely new dungeon here with Padarja Sanctuary, and that's in 60 days. So 60 days, we got 2 different pieces of content in there, as well as we had, I think, 3 new characters since I've started playing. So I think that is a recipe for success long term. I do know there's a lot of criticism about not marketing the game. That being said, I feel like it could be a strategic play at this point because the hero pool is so small, because they're kind of fleshing out more and more content. Hopefully, this is hypothetical. Assuming they're fleshing out more content and more heroes, maybe they want to save advertising until they feel like the game has a bigger draw. Because right now, to be fair, right now the game is about 60 to 90 days of engaged content, and you're pretty much end game at that point. After 90 days of playing, especially if you're spending any money, you could definitely expedite that dramatically. I think if you spent $1,000 on the game, I think within a week you would probably be what would be considered an end game player. And most people aren't going to do that. Most people don't. But for King Arthur to be successful, they need those people. They need the people that are willing to spend that money on the game, and they can't be end game in a week. They need content that's going to stretch them out significantly more. But over time, as they add certain things into the game, that will naturally happen. And it won't cost a lot to do it. I mean, we've talked about doing hard mode on the dungeons that already exist. We've talked about, you know, several ways that they could bring in content that would be a minor coding adjustment that would make things harder. I think that the more difficult thing is to make the rewards of that content make sense for the players that are playing it. Because at the end of the day, you gotta reward the whales for playing the game. And somehow you gotta try to keep the distance between the free-to-play player and the whales semi-close. Although, to be fair, the only time we really engage with that is the clan wars and in the Coliseum. So for the most part, a free-to-play player can engage with the entire game without ever really having to come across a whale. But, you know, it is kind of discouraging when you do, and you're like, man, there's no way I could ever beat that guy. So, you know, it is what it is. I do think that King Arthur could definitely benefit from taking a page out of Raid Shadow Legends book with fusions and fragment events. Like something like we come into the events here and you have all these events going on. If there was some sort of token or some sort of something that you earned, and at the end of, you know, 2 weeks to a month, you can earn a champion that you can't get during summons. You can't shortcut it, right? Like it'd be one of those where it's like a special champion, or someone like a Ceres that isn't in the summoning pool yet, but will be in a couple weeks / a month. But if you want that champion early and now, you can go ahead and earn that champion with daily event mission kind of things where you're engaging with the game every day and seeing progress towards that. I think those kind of things that keep players coming back into the game every day and looking forward to some sort of longer term goal is going to be a huge benefit to the game over time. I think another great aspect of this game that kind of goes unmentioned is the quality of life. Like just with your stamina consumption and so forth. Like I play the game at night before I go to bed, and when I wake up in the morning, there's no urgency for me to have to get in the game really fast so that I keep accruing stamina. Like as far as a free-to-play player, and I spend $95, so I know I'm not free-to-play, but if you're trying to maximize your account, you don't have that stress of constantly trying to get every little thing done. It just feels like it's a lot more user-friendly and a lot more respectful of my time than previous games I played. Looking at you, Raid, where it's like you just feel like it owns your life when you're trying to maximize and you're constantly falling behind. That being said, I would like to point out, I feel like these games are on two ends of a spectrum. On the raid side of things, the carrot is too far away and it's never achievable. Like if you actually, I think Saf and Big Papa Drock had a great video talking about if you wanted to get every single character in raid, how much money you would have to spend. And it was like well over $1 million. And it's like, that's just astronomically ridiculous. So that carrot of wanting to max out, and I know like in these games you're never going to max out your account, you're never going to get every character, but the people that play those games, they that's that kind of dream in the back of their head, like I want to have every character on my account, I want to have a majority of the characters on my account. And then on this side of things, we got a fatal error. Oh, it hurts, it's fatal. Ever since the update I've been getting a lot of crashes, so hopefully they figure that out. But the other thing, the flip side of that is what's going on here, where the carrot is not far enough. In this game, you acquire champions significantly faster than they're coming into the game, which is exciting. And as a player, that's what you think you want until you have every player in your board. And then you're like, oh, well, I kind of want, new champions coming into the game. I want to constantly have that drive. I want that next thing. I want that next piece of dopamine, that next hit. So I think there's a balance somewhere between King Arthur and Raid that is really that sweet spot. And it's a fine line, because at one point you're going to feel exploited, and on the other point you're going to feel unchallenged and unmotivated to even come play the game because you have everything. So I think that's they're leaning more towards that space for King Arthur, and I think that was one of the downfalls to Guild of Guardians as well, where it's like all the champions in the game, you acquire them pretty much within the first week or two of playing, and then it's just a matter of like leveling them up, but you get to a point where you're like, I don't know why I'm summoning characters. This game does do a much better job than Guild of Guardians in the sense I still enjoy every day when I get to summon characters, and when I get chivalry levels, I'm excited about it. I like to kind of learn more about the kits. To be fair though, like everybody's kit is so over. Like Bedivere, for example, what do we get in Chivalry level 3? I don't know. I've been playing the game for 2 months. You would think I would know that. He's one of the best characters in the game, and I don't know what I get at Chivalry level 3. The reason for that is because there's so many characters and all their kits are so complex that I'll figure out what Chivalry level 3 brings when I get it. I'll go look at it and be like, oh, okay, that's cool. In the rare instance, like Anya, there was specific things in her kit where I really wanted to get her to Chivalry level 4, which I'm excited to say that I did. And so we're working on her build and kind of getting her part of the team. So that's pretty exciting stuff. Man, I never have gold. I never have gold. But anyway, digression right there. Squirrel! But those are the kind of things where it's like inch by inch I'm starting to learn more and more about all of the kits that are affecting my account and where I'm getting stuck and how certain champions start to benefit those particular areas in the dungeon. Now I can see that for folks that started this game in November and they've been here for the beta testing and they've gone through the 100 days of the global launch, it's probably been pretty fatiguing. It's probably been pretty frustrating. In the sense that not a lot of new stuff has come to the game. So I can definitely understand where they're coming from and why they're kind of getting burned out on what's happening here, because there really is not 100 days of content in this game, especially for someone who is grinding it out every day. Like, I really enjoy playing the game, so I would say like I'm grinding it out. It's very rare that my stamina is maxed out. Like, that very rarely happens. Usually it's if I over collect a reward or something like that. And then one thing that you need to fix, Netmarble, when you level up, you should get this amount of stamina on top of whatever's in your bank. Resetting it and giving you a max sometimes is painful. I'm pretty sure, and I'm not positive, so I don't want to talk a bunch of trash. I'm pretty sure that I've had like 300 or 400 stamina before and then leveled up and actually lost stamina because it maxed me out at my new total. Which obviously is frustrating. So that needs to be fixed, and probably sooner than later. So we'll see on the next patch in 2 weeks what happens. But I am hopeful. Like, I really am hopeful for the game. I think that 100 days in, they have an amazing foundation of this game. They have a lot of directions they can move with this game. We talked about some of them. Moving to mythical champions, moving to like void relics, you know, stuff like that, where it could be very engaging for an in-game player. I think all those things, if you didn't see that, check out my 60-day review video. I think I had a lot of great ideas in it, but everybody does, right? Everybody's ideas are amazing when they're yours. So, but you know, just kind of playing other games and what would be fun to bring to this game. I think that there's a lot of avenues they could really move, and they can move the needle in major ways with minimal effort. And at this point, really, if the game is in maintenance mode, then, you know, all they need to do is just keep moving it forward incrementally. And over the course, they're probably going to lose a lot of the current player base. To be fair, that's probably going to happen. But in the course of a year, in the course of, you know, 18 months, the game is going to be way fleshed out. So even if they move the game incrementally during that time frame, the game will be, you know, significantly better afterwards. And then from there, if they started to market it, I think they have the structure of a game. The struggle there is how many people come back, how many people give it another chance, how many people have heard that the game sucks and then they don't even want to try it. So those are things that they're going to have to fight that uphill battle if they decide to make this game a long-term thing. For me personally, I've kind of cut off all my spending, which is unfortunate because now I'm part of the problem. I'm not contributing to their budget for anything, whether it's game development, for marketing, or anything like that. I'm kind of at a point where I truly believe the longer it takes me to max my characters out, the more fun I'm going to have. I have every character in the game that I need right now. My brother just pulled a Vivian. She sounds amazing. I'll get her in time. I'm not worried about it. Gilroy, I think, from what I understand, is pretty much trash. But I'm a collector. I want him on my account. And then Florentius, I actually just bought another chivalry level for Sergius, which is not necessary. Sergius's kit works completely with just no chivalry at all. And then Saris just entered the pool, so hopefully at some point in the near future I'll be adding her to the account as well. But with everything going on in the game right now, I'm still in a positive space. I'm still having a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think I'm delusional? Do you think the game's dying out from underneath me? I'm going to go down with a smile on my face. I'm still having fun with the game. Got a lot of relics yet to pull. I got a few heroes I need to get. But I'm just going to keep on plugging away, and hopefully you guys enjoy the content as I bring it out. But I appreciate you sticking with me all the way to the end. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please do so. It means the world to me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.